Scottish man Angus Barbary fasted for 392 days from June 14, 1965 to July 11, 1966. He lost 276 pounds and set a record for the length of a fast. He consumed only vitamins, electrolytes, an unspecified amount of yeast, a source of all essential amino acids, and zero-calorie beverages such as tea, coffee, and sparkling water. 276 pounds is crazy. I can't even imagine going that long. 392 days? Over a year? Dang. Never forget when a Celtic fan didn't have a scarf, so he held up his child instead. It's really funny because, it's close enough. He's got the shirt, it's got the stripes. I do the same thing. Wouldn't you? Yes. This is genuinely a stand at the Ospreys match. Forget the double-decker bus at Saracens. That's a stand? They're inside a semi-truck to get seats for the game? Dedicated fans, that's what I say. This is my dad when he married my mom. I asked him, why were you dressed like this to the wedding? And he said, your mom invited me to the wedding, but she didn't tell me who. You wore that as a guest to a wedding? To each their own, but suit and tie, my friend, come on, or at least a nice dress shirt. Swedish prison guards forget to lock cells. During Friday night, the guards to Norrtälje prison in Sweden forgot to lock 6 prisoners into their cells, 3 of which were sentenced to murder. The prisoners took the opportunity to bake brownies and watch television. One of the best evenings we had in a long time, says one of the prisoners. To be fair, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd bake me a nice set of brownies and I'd watch, whatever's on the telly. A guy named Dale Schroeder grew up poor in Iowa, never married, had no children, and worked as a carpenter at the same company for 67 years and only owned 2 jeans. He spent all his life savings to send 33 students to college. Wow, that's just a genuinely good guy. No kids, no wife, just working his life away, making sure kids can go to college. You love to see it, you truly do. Dedication. Frank Furter at Dr. FN Furter, 5/8/2009. I see you shiver with anticipation. Wait for it.
5 years later.
Patient. 5 years. He waited 5 years. Just you wait until, ! Remind me, 5 years. How did he get 35 in the first place? Meet this man from Japan, Takashi Miyazawa, who was arrested for having 35 girlfriends at the same time. He did this to receive expensive birthday gifts on different days throughout the year. Why do you get arrested for having 35 girlfriends? That on itself, I can't imagine why that would be illegal. Is it immoral? Yeah, absolutely. For shizzle. But illegal? I don't know. Why did elementary schools just occasionally bring in a dude with a big snake? Who was that man? What were his credentials? Get you guys excited about learning. Yesterday, my colleague called me a book murderer because I cut long books in half to make them more portable. Does anyone else do this? Or is it just me? It's just you, dude. You're a psychopath. I don't even read books and I think this is heinous. What the hell is wrong with you? You rip them in half? Why? Found this randomly. And someone, please, release Half-Life 3 for my man. Hazard time. Daily Half-Life 3 update. Day 1967. No way. I love dedicated accounts like this. Some dude just leaked the new SpongeBob movie in its entirety on Twitter. Fuck it. Full SpongeBob SquarePants Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie leak. How did you manage to get that? Also, why does it look like that? Why can't it be normal SpongeBob animation? Where are you? I left early. Sorry I couldn't stay any longer. WTF, where are you going? I'm going home. Are you kidding me? Come back. You're drunk. Don't worry. I called an Uber. We drank at your place. Oh, where am I going? Wow, seriously? Get the driver on the phone. Where is he going? We'll never know. He never knew. Maybe he didn't even find out. Today, I discovered my husband has me in his phone as Jennifer Wortman. Could be worse. One of my identical twins has the other twin in his phone as spare parts. I'm also like this. I don't like having nicknames in my phone for people. The only 2 exceptions are my parents that'll say mom and dad. But my siblings have first and last name. When I had a girlfriend, so many millennia ago, she was in my phone as her first and last name. I don't even do emojis. I don't know. My favorite fart story goes back, 20 years ago to seeing The Return of the King in theaters. I was on a pretty hot date, and that film drones out 5 endings. Well, right after the scene where the Eagles picked up Frodo and Sam and it gets all quiet, and the audience is holding their breath thinking, is that it? Some brilliant gift to humanity who deserves their 12th Oscar sitting on a massive popcorn and chicken fingers time bomb decided at that perfect moment to hit the dump valve, ripping a massive muffled seat slapper that abruptly destroyed everyone's suspense. A second later, the next scene fades into Frodo in bed and Gandalf staring at him as he starts to laugh. Well, so too did that entire theater. Such a funny memory that it survived 2 decades. I think more people should be farting in the theaters. Hear me out. That sounds weird, but like, this is peak comedy. Imagine holding in a fart and waiting for like a suspenseful moment where it gets really quiet to just let it rip. I think that's great, and I think we should be doing that more as a society. My Indian American friend asked me to do this for him for the ACT after I got a 35. I said I'm white and no one would believe my name is Rahul. Indian man dons girlfriend's disguise to give exam on her behalf. Arrested after failing biometrics. Wow. When the March 2011 tsunami hit his hometown of Ishinomaki, Hideaki Akaiwa was at work. Realizing his wife was trapped in their home, he ignored the advice of professionals who told him to wait for the army to arrive to provide search and rescue. Instead, he found a wetsuit, jumped in the raging torrent, dodging cars, houses, and other debris, being dragged around by the powerful current, any of which could have killed him instantly, and navigated the now submerged streets in pitch-dark, freezing water until he found his house. Swimming inside, he discovered his wife alive on the upper level, with only a small amount of breathing room, and pulled her out to safety. If he had waited for the army, his wife of 20 years would be dead. Oh, and if that's not enough badassery for one lifetime, Hideaki realized his mother was also unaccounted for, so he jumped back in the water and managed to save her life also. For weeks after the disaster, Hideaki entered the water every day on a one-man search and rescue mission, saving countless lives and proving that 2 natural disasters in a single day and insurmountable odds can't stand in the way of love. This man is a hero. The main character has appeared. We must give him more quests and build his XP. Whatever makes you feel better. My wife's paycheck was just deposited to our joint checking account. That's passive income. No, it's not. My friend, not true. Just get more wives and profit. Woman hates selfies and decides to photograph herself dead all over the world. I mean, to be fair, I also hate selfies. I'd probably do that too. I think that's funny and quirky in a good way. Japanese husband has gone 20 years without speaking to his wife since she upset him. What the hell did this woman do to have upset this guy so bad that he doesn't leave her, but doesn't talk to her for 20 years? After a week, he was like, well, I can't just start talking all of a sudden, I'll just seem like an asshole. Police robot told woman to go away after she tried to report a crime, then sang a song. Just about as useful as regular police. Kid doesn't play around. How about you shut up, object guy? I be smash your head in the desk. Why are we letting children on the internet? Why do they say these things? It doesn't make any sense. It's just a random threat of violence to a poor tennis ball. Mad lad defends drinking 81 pints of Guinness over weekend and hits back at critics. Did he drink more? Good for him. 81 pints of Guinness though, that's a lot. That's very much so a lot. It was a one-off. Beat his previous record of 78. I assume he means once a year thing rather than something he does every week or so. I would assume so as well. I think doing that every week would be, you know. I knew my GF was gonna dump me, so I set up a profile called Add Profile on her Netflix account, and 3 years later, I'm still watching. Think smarter, not harder, fellas. That's all I gotta say. Nigerian scammer Emmanuel Nuere once sold a fake airport to an international bank for $242 million. An entire airport? An entire airport. How? I don't even want to know. Then he went to jail and got his money confiscated, and then when he got out of jail, he sued and got $52 million back. When they said it, they meant it. I'm crazy. I'm gonna do that. You can't stop me. Yeah, you can, what is this? Etch in your AirPods case and you can just put Samsung? That's funny. I think that's great. Good for you, dude. Oh yeah, there it comes back. It just says Samsung on it. That's awesome. Japanese man, 35, has 4 wives and 2 girlfriends, hasn't worked in 10 years, and he lives off of them. I would like to know how you managed to do that. He plans to continue expanding his family and wishes to have 54 children, so his name can go down in history as the person with the most kids in Japan. Not something I would want to be known for, but okay. It's a thing over there, actually. He's a professional house husband. He cooks and cleans for working women, like a personal butler you are legally allowed to sleep with. Am I not allowed to sleep with a personal butler? Is that illegal? Alfred's looking mighty breedable right now. Kids continue gaming during 2021 typhoon in the Philippines. They're having a LAN party. They're not gonna let a little bit of water ruin it, right? I wouldn't. Smart move. Putting the electric sockets that high. Hopefully an eel won't swim up their pants while they're distracted. In 1996, a Hong Kong gangster kidnapped the son of billionaire business magnate Sir Ka-shing Lee and went to the tycoon's house to personally collect the ransom of HK 1 billion, around $130 million. After releasing his son, the kidnapper called Lee and asked for advice on how to invest the ransom money. Well, bold, brash, and honest. We need more of that in today's society. The kidnapper was executed. Oh, well, oopsies. What you gonna do? Send a train? No! Yeah, no trains here. During the American Revolution, an enslaved man named Billy was charged with treason and sentenced to hang. Cleverly, he argued that since he was legally considered property, he was not a citizen and could not commit treason against the government, to which he owed no allegiance. Billy was subsequently pardoned. Yeah, the South would do anything except admit that black people were people. He didn't make the argument. Two of the jurors did by writing a letter to Jefferson, governor of Virginia at the time. Jefferson was also the right person to go to. When he was a lawyer, he defended at least a couple slaves using similar arguments, including one trial with an early form of his phrase, "All men are created equal." Obviously, they didn't have a choice. He was the governor, but it's an interesting correlation. There's plenty of worth criticizing about Jefferson, but he did have some moral fiber in that respect. The bar is so low. Oh man. There are still good people in this world. This woman just farted so loud in the bathroom, I could just feel she was embarrassed, so I farted back just to make her not feel so alone. This is the America that we need. We should be able to fart freely. Star Trek fan finds loophole in general relativity and theorized an actual warp drive. In 1994, Mexican physicist and Star Trek fan Miguel Alcubierre, I'm sure I butchered that, we'll call him Miguel, published a paper on the warp drive while still a PhD student and became instantly famous. How did he figure this out? He did this by manipulating Einstein's equations of general relativity. This was a purely geometric manipulation. What you have to understand is that general relativity at its core is about the geometry of space-time. Einstein showed that gravity is a geometric warping of space-time. By manipulating this geometry to look the way a warp field would look for a spaceship, Miguel made the equations find an answer to the idea of a warp drive, regardless of whether it was feasible or whether other laws of physics would allow it. It was more of a thought experiment. But his equations are mathematically consistent solutions to Einstein's equations, and this is how Miguel's warp drive would work. Take a spaceship and put a bubble of space around it. If you can compress space in front of the bubble and expand space behind the bubble, then you can make the bubble of space along with the spaceship move. This would be like riding a wave on a surfboard. You are not moving on the surfboard, but the surfboard is moving because it is being pushed by the wave. This is where the loophole is in Einstein's speed limit, that nothing can move faster than the speed of light. This speed limit only applies to objects traveling within space, not the movement of space itself. Space can move at any speed. Ooh, and there's a diagram too. That's super interesting. Weird looking spaceship though. I actually do kind of mess with it a little bit. I like it. I like it. I mean, physics PhD student is a better and more accurate description for this purpose. That's how FTL travel was solved in the Dark Forest trilogy books as well. Public domain. Haha, I uploaded it a day early. I'm such a naughty boy. No way, brother. You're messed up. Walt Disney, John Disney is gonna be all over you. Disney lawyers sharpening their knives. They're coming after you, dude. They have your address as we speak. In the 1990s, the California man, Steve Commissar, began putting ads in national magazines selling solar-powered dryers for $49.95. Customers would then receive a simple clothesline in the mail. Oh, like an actual, like an actual clothesline. Solar-powered dryers. Yeah, I mean, wording is everything. I like to summarize recruiting in the summer of 2022. Today we approached a man in a full duck costume flipping a car wash sign in 96-degree heat. We offered him $35K and a job, and he told us to frick off. I think I'm going to get a cheap bottle of liquor, find a park bench, and contemplate life. Recruiter, please join, bro. Chad, sign spinner. Quack. Oh. Hey man, I know you're wearing this stupid getup in 96-degree heat for bad pay. How would you like to wear a heavier, stupid getup in 120-degree heat 5,000 miles from home for pay, all while surrendering your personal autonomy? Shocking he refused. Also, people are shooting at you. Mad lad Alec. Looking into the boy's eyes, I thought I detected little star shells of madness beginning to form, and he asked the young fan to do something for him. Anything, sir, anything. Well, I said, do you think you could promise never to see Star Wars again? He burst into tears. His mother drew herself up to an immense height. What a dreadful thing to say to a child, she barked, and dragged the poor kid away. Maybe she was right, but I just hope the lad, now in his 30s, is not living in a fantasy world of second-hand, childish banalities. For context, the boy claimed to have seen Star Wars over 100 times the summer it came out. His mom worked near the local movie theater, so when his mom took him to work with her, he would just go watch multiple times a day while she worked. A friend of mine from high school saw The Natural over 100 times. She is now a well-adjusted adult with a career and a family. Turns out, she just really liked the movie and did not have any problem discerning reality from fantasy. Trinity College Library, Dublin, University of Dublin. No phones, no wine, no food, and no cigarettes. And this dude has all of them. All of them. Dude has no care in the world for any rules, for any sort of library that Dublin or the entire country of Ireland really has to offer. This dude does what he wants. Met a bunch of guys from Harvard yesterday, and I kept pretending like I never heard of that school just to piss them off. One of them legit turned red when I said, Harvard? Is that like a local community college? Lamau. I'm hard for her. Reminds me of my coworker who, whenever she sees a Tesla at a gas station or something, she'll look over and go, wow, the new Toyotas look really cool. The drivers lose their minds. Sounds like a Tesla owner for shizzle. Oh, Pokemon, oh boy. I completed Pokemon Fire Red using only a Magikarp. This was the worst experience ever. I'm currently throwing together a YouTube video to highlight the run. Hopefully we'll finish up this week. Anti-LGBTQ street preacher drowned out with saxophones on New York Street. That's the proper way to get rid of these disgusting homophobes. Gay people aren't bothering anybody. And if you see someone on the street preaching anti-gay stuff, and if you have a saxophone on you, you should do the same thing and just blast it really loud so no one can hear it. Imagine being like, this is probably a fake alarm, or we'll take 5 nukes. Either way, it's fine. Stanislav Yevgravovich Petrov, great, was a lieutenant colonel of the Soviet Air Defense Forces who played a key role in the 1983 Soviet nuclear false alarm incident. On the 26th of September 1983, 3 weeks after the Soviet military had shot down Korean Airlines Flight 007, Petrov was the duty officer at the command center for the Oko nuclear early warning system, when the system reported that a missile had been launched from the United States, followed by up to 5 more. Petrov judged the reports to be a false alarm. Apparently, he later said that one of the reasons he decided it was a false alarm was because he reasoned that if the United States was genuinely trying to nuke the Soviet Union, they would use a heck of a lot more than 5 nukes. American mad lads could have been nuking the Soviet Union just a little bit. Oklahoma 13-year-old believed to be the first person ever to beat Tetris. I've read about this before. There was that one person who made a news article totally just on this poor kid, and everyone was like, hey, you suck, to the person who made the report. Oklahoma is known for only 2 things: tornadoes and breeding Tetris masters. Omaha man paints his house in rainbow colors after neighbors said derogatory words to him about gay men that didn't sit well. I aspire to be this level of petty. If someone would on gay people around me and I had a house, I'd probably do this. It'd be a lot of hard work, but I'd do it. How do I watch in Australia? Roku's working on it. In the meantime, there's VPN. Very probably no way to watch it legally. I'm sure you have a torrent of other questions, but I have to move along. Sorry. From the actual official Al Yankovic account. 223 hours video. Reported this to YouTube, so they have to watch the whole thing. And then if everyone did it, they'd have to watch it every single time. WTF? I couldn't wait to get to the car to post this stuff. So I stayed at this dude's house, and before I left, he said, grab a bag. No TF, he didn't. Doritos, a sandwich, snacks, a $20 bill, and half tea? Hell yeah! That sounds like a great person to spend the night with. Spotted this mad lad cruising downtown Nashville's bar district at 14 degrees with no windows or doors. Oh my god. Ew. I don't want to be that cold. That sounds like ass. Woman went on 6 dates a week to save on food. I didn't buy groceries for 2 years. And all you had to do was talk to men? Risky, but worth it in the end. Leo Kloostermans caught a 573-pound marlin on a line meant to catch 4-pound fish in 1995. His record still stands today. Damn, that's a big-ass fish. Holy, isn't marlin, like, worth a lot? Isn't it like, how much is marlin worth per pound? Just a brief Google search says $20 per pound. And this guy had, what, 573? So that's like, hey Siri, what's 573 times 20? $11,460 worth of marlin. That's crazy. Mad Lad re-uploads a Kidz Bop song to add it to his playlist. I'm re-uploading a Kidz Bop song specifically to add it to my playlist, lol. From Kidz Bop 37? Are we there? Kidz Bop 37? Dude, I remember the original Kidz Bop. Kidz Bop 1? I was there for that. I'm old. New Rock, Paper, Scissors just dropped. It's called Canine Bites Cow, Deputy Tases Canine, Cow Kicks Deputy. Alright, who wants to play Canine Cow Deputy? An Australian guy, Bill Morgan, was declared dead for 14 minutes. He somehow survived. To celebrate his survival, he bought a scratch card and won a $27,000 car. The media asked him to reenact the scratch card moment, so he bought another card and won another $250,000 jackpot. God is trying to apologize. Oh shoot, my bad, bruh. I met my pop 6 years ago on my 22nd birthday, and this guy said, what you been up to? Like you seen me the other day. I was like, my guy, I've been up to a whole lot of stuff since 1989. What the hell wrong with you? And he got mad. Thankfully to this tweet, they had changed a specific word to guy so that I could properly read this out to you. Hungry photographer deletes all photos and leaves after being denied food at a wedding. Why would you deny food to the freaking photographer? You're paying him to commemorate your special day, to commemorate all of the good memories, and you're not going to let him eat food? The hell's wrong with you? Last time this was posted, someone said the cameraman was a friend of the couple and he was taking photos as a favor. I have no idea if that's true, but if it is, it adds another level of assholery to the story. This is true if memory serves. He was a dog groomer who took good photos of dogs and offered to do their wedding for only a couple $100. It was hot, it was summer, and he was not allowed to take breaks. He wasn't allowed to eat, he wasn't allowed to drink, and he wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom. Being denied a plate at dinner was just the last straw. Professional photographer here. When doing a wedding, it's practically assumed you're going to be eating at the wedding with whatever catering they do. On a wedding day, you're basically there 9 a.m., if not earlier depending on the drive, and get home maybe around 11 p.m., if not midnight. Most of the work goes into setting up, stock images for Photoshop, the ceremony, photographing the dress, the ceremony itself, entrance, father handing daughter off to the groom, the kiss which you damn sure need to make sure you're perfect, because there is no second chance here, and organizing groups post-ceremony. Usually, you'll have made a list ahead of time, along with making sure you have pictures of the marriage license being signed. Once the reception starts, there's honestly a few things you'll still need to hit: mother-son, father-daughter dance, bouquet toss, wedding party entrance, etc., but they don't happen in quick succession like the ceremony itself does. Plenty of downtime between everything to grab something to eat from the catering. It's an asshole move to not allow the photographer to do that.